Good evening or afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Age Weather Forecast. And this is going to be a very interesting upload. Obviously, we are kind of done talking about Orlina, but now we're going to be potentially talking about not a historic, but an absolute massive and not an every year massive Arctic blast that can potentially bring in historic temperatures for some areas, whether it's all the way to the southeast or a portion of the Midwest here, potentially record breaking temperatures for certain days here. I mean, we're talking wind chills up to negative 50 degrees across the Midwest this weekend, and potentially wind chills all the way to the negative digits as far south as Atlanta, Georgia, which has not happened since I believe 2014. So, an absolute record breaking potential cold front that will bring in absolute frigid and potentially dangerously and even deadly temperatures across millions in the central and eastern United States here that can most likely start as early as Friday and not end all the way up into mid of February. But if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and as well be sure to hit the like button if you really enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, be sure to put them in the comments below and I'll do my best to respond to them. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So here's looking now at the this is a look now at the 12Z GFS. Actually, no, this is actually the 18Z GFS, which just loaded here. And this is what we're looking at here by Friday. Oh, sorry, Saturday. And around the next 96 hours or so, we're going to start seeing that colder entering the United States here. So we're going to have a big high pressure there near Alberta, bringing some very cold air here. So it's going to start off as a normal cold front. Obviously, this is a normal cold front. But once it gets deep into the United States there, it absolutely just go straight down the center of the United States. And the thing is, usually big cold fronts that bring in negative 50 degrees across Alberta and the Arctic Circle. Usually they obviously die down by the time they get to the United States. However, this one, not so much. Actually, it won't bring in negative 50 degrees like sustain like the actual temperatures, but we will see wind chill around negative 50 degrees. We'll see real-time temperatures around negative 30 degrees here, but we're already start seeing 15 to 20 degrees above average across these areas here in the upper Midwest and potential the plains by Super Bowl Sunday. And then by later into Sunday, this thing moves very quickly, rapidly, all the way to the Gulf Coast here in Texas. And we're going to start seeing potentially negative digits now, not only for lows, but potentially as highs across these areas here. Maybe 30 degrees below average in some of these areas here across the Great Lakes here. It's going to be absolutely a massive cold front, not just the Great Lakes. This is going to go all the way down the crest of the United States here, and it's not going to weaken from there. It's actually going to get a lot worse. Like that, potentially 35 degrees or more below average. So the averages alone in these areas are super frigid, well below freezing. So take 35 degrees away from that. Obviously, this is still around a week out. We're actually less than a week out, but still, models have been showing this for quite a while, and this could actually allow for massive snowstorms in the southeast, potentially up in the Great Lakes, and then it's going to continue now with the second wave here all the way by Friday and the 12th. So this is going to be over a week long cold front here. And then by the 13th, it's still across portions of the southeast and eastern United States and does not end until the 14th here, so around mid-February. But look at that, an absolute massive cold front. It actually gets stronger once it's actually in the actual mainland United States here. So this cold front is definitely unique. It actually strengthens the further south it goes here. It's going to go not just the Great Lakes like a typical big polar vortex, but it's going to go all the way down there into the southeast there. Like we're gonna be seeing that actual high pressure going straight into the United States here. Although we'll bring some very dry air here. If we have any low pressure developing across this region, could see some big snowstorms across these areas here, or maybe even across the northeast here. So definitely something to keep in mind. It's going to be an absolute massive storm that will impact millions from Montana down to Texas to Florida to Maine. We're talking millions to get potentially deadly cold, not just in the Great Lakes, but I mean deadly cold all the way to the southeast, where we can see negative digits for wind chills up to negative 10 to negative 20 degrees wind chill, not real time temperatures, wind shield. And that'll obviously be more in the mountains. However, if there's obviously people who don't have enough clothing or all that, or outside too long, it could be deadly or severe frostbite. But it'll definitely be deadly temperatures across portions of the Great Lakes here. Negative 30 degrees potentially real temperature with potential wind chills up to negative 50 degrees. Even the Europeans showing it actually, the Europeans actually showing it a lot more severe here, which they tend to not overreact these cold fronts. Usually the GFS is the one that does that, but even the Europeans actually being super excessive on this. Let me actually move this a little bit. There you go. This is now by, of course, Saturday. There you see the high pressure there of that big cold front up to negative 23.8 degrees here. And there it is, that massive high pressure, this just absolutely just barbades the United States here, negative 25.3 degrees below average. That's not actual real-time temperatures. It'd be a lot colder than that, but 26.5 degrees below average. And this is an absolute massive area where we have those temperatures. Look, this is the barrier basically where we can see 26 degrees below average. It's a massive area covering millions of people. Usually, it's a small little thing where you see that, but it's absolutely massive here. This is now by Sunday, and it's continuing to get stronger, now getting 26 degrees below average and going straight into the deep southeast. Atlanta, Columbia, Raleigh, Nashville, even St. Louis, Des Moines, Minneapolis. We're seeing absolute massive cities that will get absolutely smashed by this cold front here. And then, of course, there it is, kind of backs up a little bit. And then you see the same thing moves a little bit more to the south here. But the European has it ending a lot sooner. But look how massive that is. I mean, this is just not a normal cold front. This is not a polar vortex. It did not come from the polar circle, or it did not come from the Arctic Circle. However, it's an absolute, it's impressive. It's not historic, but it's absolutely impressive. Definitely not just the coldest temperatures of the year potentially, or the winter, but potentially the coldest temperatures in some areas for years. Could be the coldest temperatures we've seen in the southeast in around 5 or maybe near a decade for some areas. Here all the way to the coast, we may see teens. So definitely something to keep in mind. Models keep showing it being this severe, so definitely something to keep in mind. And get your coats ready. Get wood or something, because it's going to be like the Arctic in some areas. So let's actually see how much below average what we'll be seeing in these areas. So we get now into Sunday here, or Sunday morning, going to start seeing 36 degrees below average in some areas in Nebraska, around 30 degrees below average there across portions of Wisconsin. But look at these areas on the East Coast. Some areas are seeing average temperatures, some just a little bit below average. But just a few hours later, look at that, 40 degrees below average. So you guys are probably thinking I'm overreacting when I say 40 degrees below average, but I'm not overreacting. It literally says 40 degrees below average that out there in Iowa, up to 37 degrees below average in Minneapolis. These averages actually may be in the teens and even single digits for lows. So take 40 away from that. That is negative 30, negative 20, negative 25. Even negative 40 degrees potentially in the Appalachians. 31, 38 there near the Great Smoky Mountains, all the way to 20 degrees below average in the deep Florida area. And then it moves obviously in the Ohio Valley now, 33 degrees below average. But look how widespread this is. Montana to Florida to Maine. We have basically the whole upper plains and eastern United States basically, and then it continues now to go back into Iowa, 39 degrees below average again. So really the Midwest is going to get hit really hard. Look at that, all from Texas to Maine to the Canadian border here, and this is going to last days and days and days. And then it goes back to Ohio and actually get to worse, 41 degrees below average. I mean, 41 degrees. Think about it. So let's say your average is, let's say for Florida, for example, let's say your average high is 80. 41, that's 39 degrees. That is 39 degrees. That's how significant that is. Let's say 40 degrees in general. Obviously, you go from 80 to 40. That's an absolute massive difference. Even 40 degrees above average. Let's say your average is 60. That means 100. I mean, we're talking 40 degrees. People don't know how, obviously people know what 40 degrees is a big difference, but I mean, holy cow. Let's say your average high is 40. You go to 0 now. I mean, these are the real-time temperatures, 2-meter temperatures on the next 72 hours by Thursday. So look how warm they are. 34 for the highs. Some highs as the cold front does move in. Highs will be in the single digits for some areas, but watch. A day later, this cold air just rushes in now, seeing 2 degrees, 8 degrees across portions of the Midwest, and then it rushes in by Sunday like an absolute just Maniac, negative 13 degrees. This is not windshield. This is real time temperatures, 2 meter temperatures, negative 20 across areas in Minnesota. And there you see negative 24, negative 41.3 degrees here. Actually, y'all don't believe me, I can move that right there. There you see, this is the max cold there, and that's going to be around right here, right there, negative 41.3 degrees there. Absolutely crazy. Minneapolis, negative 25, negative 30 outside there, and upper northwestern Minnesota could get near negative 40 degrees. Now, as we continue later on into now Tuesday, negative 35 degrees across right here near upper Minnesota, negative 10 across areas like Wisconsin, negative 14, negative 20 maybe across Iowa. And he had a second little wave by Wednesday, seeing widespread negative teens and even to negative 20s there. Let's go and check a look at the real time temperatures here by Friday, as it will arrive a lot later for the southeast and Midwest. Not Midwest, Mid Atlantic. Look at these temperatures, very warm, 40s there across the Ohio Valley. Some obviously it's gonna be very cold because obviously that's the high pressure there in the northeast. But really, reality, it's gonna be even some 60s there across the southeast here. But watch, this cold air just rushes in. Look at that. All right, this is now by Sunday, and look at that. Now by Monday morning temperature. This is real time temperatures. Look at these cold. Look at these temperatures. Let me actually move my screen a little bit so you guys can see. Let me see. There we go. To 15 degrees there for Atlanta, Georgia. Single digits to negative digits across the Appalachians. Even negative digits all the way down to North Carolina. Negative 4 across areas like Indianapolis. And then boom, rushes in there. 12 degrees for Atlanta. Negative 2 degrees for North Carolina. Around negative 10 degrees across the Great Smoky Mountains. Maybe 7 degrees across Nashville. Negative digits there into Kentucky, Indiana, and Illinois. Look at negative 8 in Chicago. And then there you see that cold air absolutely just rushes into Ohio by Tuesday. Negative 12 for Columbus, potentially single digits to maybe negative digits across the Northeast. Still seeing the negative digits there as well in Chicago. But now for the fun part, the windshields. It won't be too fun though when you guys actually feel these windshields. These are windshields. These are windshields for, I believe, Wednesday. So the wind chills obviously will be quite cold in the teens, and look how warm it'll be, maybe the 20s and 30s across these regions here. But look at that. Then boom, rushes in this cold air by Friday. These are the windshield on Friday. Negative 22. Windshield up to around negative 20, negative 10 across areas of Wisconsin by Friday morning, and then boom, look at that by Saturday morning. 35. Negative 35 windshield, now rushing into now the negative 20s across the Midwest there. And then look at now Sunday morning, negative 41 degrees across areas in upper North Dakota, negative 28 near Nebraska, negative 30s across Iowa. Now those temperatures, negative 14 wind chills into St. Louis, negative 14 again for Kansas City, negative 24 near Madison. Look at the areas near Twin Cities, maybe negative 30. And then look at this. This is now by Monday morning, negative 62 degrees. Look at that. Negative 63 degrees right here. Right there. If you guys don't believe me, there it is. Right there. And look at the color map. It basically, hold on, let me actually move that. Look at the color map. Right here, this color, it goes right towards negative 60. Negative 63 degrees in portions of Canada and the USA border. Negative 44, again, this is a windshield. Negative 40 across the Twin Cities. Negative 40s up into Iowa. Negative 30, maybe negative 29 to areas like upper Illinois. I mean, right here in upper northwestern Minnesota, actually may get over negative 50 degree windshield. Now later on into now Tuesday morning, around negative 50s across portions of central Minnesota, negative 30s down to Nebraska, even some negative 30s across Montana. I mean, it's going to be an absolute nightmare. I mean, at this point, don't even go outside. And by Wednesday morning, wind chills continued. Negative 25 there from Minneapolis, negative 33s across, negative 30s across Wisconsin. Even some spotty areas, we get negative 40 into areas like Iowa. And even areas like, of course, St. Louis may get to negative 17, negative 20. So definitely the coldest for the year so far. Wind chills for the Mid-Atlantic, Northeast, and Great Lakes by Thursday. Very warm, 40s. And then obviously in the Great Lakes and some teens and 20s. Not too shabby, but boom. Later on, we get into now Saturday morning. Wind chills will be into the negative digits already. Negative digits are already for the Great Lakes. -6 around Central Michigan. -12, -15 across Upper Indiana. And you thought that was bad. Look at now. Look at this now. Look at this. -1 degree, guys, for Atlanta. -1 degrees. I'm actually supposed to be at -7 degree wind chill. Again, this is a wind chill, guys, so don't freak out. Look at that. Wind chill up to 2 degrees in Virginia Beach. Virginia Beach, guys. 14 near Little Rock. Little Rock, guys. -4 near Nashville. -19, -30 across portions of the Appalachian Mountains. I mean, come on, this is pretty crazy. Absolutely. Look at the -3 for Atlanta. -3 for Atlanta. 2 degrees for Cape Hatteras. 0 for Dover. 6 for New York City. God, it may be colder in Georgia than in areas in the Appalachians in Vermont. Think about that. Burlington, Vermont, 6 degrees. Georgia, -3. Again, this is a wind shield. -33 up there in the West Virginia mountains. Now by Tuesday, big difference. Still very cold in the 20s there. In the single digits across the Ohio Valley. Even now going to get a lot colder once we get to the Northeast the day following. Then it comes a lot colder in the Northeast. -5 there for New York City wind chill. -20s across portions of Ohio. And then we'll have another big cold blast moving in the second wave by Thursday. -7 there across Nashville. Now I can start seeing negative digits once again across Georgia. I can start seeing around 16 already for Atlanta. So it's going to be an absolute nightmare for some people. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. And bye, guys.